Let's get into talking to them about protecting their personal data.
Yes, we are back with our digital awareness series, and we start the year with data privacy. Every year, annually, January is Data Privacy Week and Data Privacy Day, and we will be observing those, and we will continue to share with our listeners on data privacy, what it is, and what to do to ensure that your data is kept private. And when you talk about privacy, you are talking about secrets. I guess it's secrecy that we want to also address. Remember, we are on the digital awareness, cyber security, and all those other things. But here we are talking about respect and importance for that data. It is an international effort to create awareness about the importance of respect for data. And your data is important, yes, but you respect its privacy. You ensure that it's covered and it's well taken care of. And this is part of also the global initiatives around Stop, Think, and Connect, especially online. You need to stop first and say, do I really need to share this information, this data about me? You need to think through before you connect. And the two main goals of data privacy is to help citizens understand that they have the power to manage their data. It doesn't necessarily mean whenever I get a form to provide my data, I have to fill in all the content that is required with all that I have. Sometimes you need to ask, why do you need my street name? Why do you need my date of birth? You need to pause and ask yourself. And also ask, most of the time we think when you are given this form to fill or when you are asked for your personal data, you just need to provide. But here we are saying you also have the power and the authority to manage that data that you supply and that data that you own. Don't blame the organization. They're asking for data. It is your responsibility to say, insurance company, why do you need 1, 2, 3 from me? Maybe they will give you answers. Maybe they will tell you, no, you can skip that one if you don't want to provide it. But because we never ask, we think, and at the end of the day, we want to blame them for the data that we have supplied and the data that is out there. Most organizations also have data privacy policy. We talked about data protection sometime last year. We talked about securing your data. But remember, there's also data privacy. And organizations have data privacy policy in terms of how they are going to respect your data. The second goal of data privacy, in terms of the awareness that we give, is to help organizations understand why it is important that they respect their users' data. It's one thing to protect it, it's another thing to respect it. You need to also respect the data of those users you interact with as an organization. So Data Privacy Week and Awareness and Month is meant to help the individual side and the organizational side, both of them to know their roles and responsibilities and take accountability of the data that they interact with. Go botlhokwa hela gore ha go there is a webinar or a free webinar or it's a paid webinar, ke romelwa form so that if you provide all the information, provide date of birth, your high school, your primary school, where you got your degree. Sometimes you need to ask yourself, is it so important? Is it safe? Yes. So data is collected every day, yes, and it's used in so many critical decisions that we don't dispute. We agree that a lot of worldwide decisions are based on the data that we provide. For anybody to say there's an outbreak of COVID, it's because of the data that they have interacted with and the amount of it, and they make that judgment. So it's very important that, yes, we provide data, but we must also make sure that we are responsible. At personal level, today we'll just look at what you need to look out for to make that informed decision. Is it worth the amount of data you are giving? Whenever you are asked to give data, ask yourself, but is this event, is this service that I want to procure, is this product that I'm buying worth all this data that they're asking, really? So you need to try and weigh it off and say, but if I give it, can I also have control over it while I'm getting the service? Or will I have control over it if I'm not getting the service? How do they dispose of my data
after I get their service.
Yeah.
So you need to weigh the trade-off. You need to have a trade-off kind of thing. Or do I really want to go ahead and attend this thing just because of the data that I'm providing? Or should I let go? I will look for other similar events down here that I can attend. Because the important thing is to make sure that your data is secure wherever it goes.
Yes.
Is the data required even relevant? That is the second that you can look at. The amount of data, what is the trade-off? Is it even relevant? And then how often are you going to meet this service if you are going to provide this whole amount of data? So the amount of data that I provide must be relevant. It must be tied to the time that I need the service. I must be aware of how my data will be protected and respected. And I also must be aware how it is going to be disposed beyond the relationship that I'm starting or that I have built with this organization. So it is important that we take responsibility as early as now. We will be filling so many forms to renew some of the relationships and partnerships and agreements. Students are going to schools, you'll be asked for so much. It is quite a lot. You'll be getting a usual and providing all that information. So when the year starts, there's a lot of information that we give out. There's a lot of data that we give out. And it is going to be processed one way or the other by somebody somewhere. But do I have the responsibility and take the responsibility to ensure that I also know what's going to happen behind the scenes?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's our message for today. We will continue next week. We will look at the organizational side. Remember, I said we are looking at two goals. For me as a citizen, digital citizen, understand that I have the power to manage my data. As an organization, understand why it is important that you respect your users' data. We will talk about that next week.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to next week's conversation on data because, we're starting, like you're saying, we're starting the new year with new things and we're looking forward to protecting our data.
Yeah.
I hope you have a good Sunday, Sarah.